The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
The attention on the Family Islands tonight with the PLP rallying supporters in Exuma and the F&M in Abaco. We're live tonight. Also tonight, it's Week in Review Fridays. My panel revisits some of the biggest news stories this week, including Nomination Day. There are 25 days until the general election, so let's get started. This is Beyond the Headlines, Week in Review Fridays. Good evening, I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. The political machinery continues in Abaco tonight. Of course, we know what's happening in Exuma, and we will go there shortly. But the Free National Movement is on the island of Abaco. Linton Ritchie Jr. is at the rally that got started just a short while ago. Linton, good evening to you, and do give us an idea of how things are going. Meanwhile, of course, it is 25 days until the people, Bahamians across the country, go to the polls. The Progressive Liberal Party is ramping up its campaign. The PLP is in Exuma tonight. Rebecca Bain is on the island of Exuma. I think we are going to go to her. Let me know, guys, if she's there. If not, we can get started, and let me know when both of them are ready so we can go to them. And so I'm going to bring in right now the Hot Topics panel discussion. It's good to have you gentlemen here. Good evening to each of you, Ellington Ferguson, Leslie Miller, and Michael Turnquest.
It's good to be here, Colin.
Good evening, Shanique. Thank you for having me once again.
Let's talk about the momentum of both political organizations right now. The PLP on the island of Abaco, we will go there momentarily. The Free National Movement, the PLP in Exuma, the Free National Movement on the island of Abaco. What would you say about the momentum at this point, 25 days out? Which party has it? Which party is still fumbling, trying to get it? Their messaging and all the rest of it. Your thoughts on where election 2026 stands right now?
Well, Shanique, once again, both parties are building momentum. Even though we know earlier the Free National Movement had a bunch of little struggles on wrangling, it seems that they're able to pull themselves together, at least for this moment, and they're really on track. They're building momentum, maybe not as fast as we see it happening in the Progressive Liberal Party. I think we see some larger numbers with the Progressive Liberal parties, but both parties are building momentum, and the heat of this campaign trail is just getting fired up, and we're just seeing the beginning. I believe, Shanique, in the coming days, we're going to really get a feel for where the real strength, where the real stronger momentum is at. But both parties, I see that is building tremendous momentum on the campaign trail right now.
Mm-hmm. Michael, good evening to you.
Viewers, Shanique, when you look at Nomination Day and you look at the momentum, I think both parties are gearing up. You see the PLP and some of their strongholds, of course, you expect them to be stronger, which what I've seen doing nomination. I think, the party messaging, both are getting out. I think the PLP is speaking to its record in terms of what it would have done in the past 5 years, and the F&M, of course, in terms of what their plans are. You see a lot of that coming to fruition. You see the thing going on with Michael Barnaby and the beach and parks, 141 million that's being, asked, and just a lot of stuff that you see that just, it's kind of, the machinery is starting to go up on, gear up on both sides. So it's interesting, right now, from when you look at the numbers, I still think it's very close. I think you see a lot of the independents, even some of the COI. You see some of their numbers. It's not what some would look at, a tier one political party, but there are numbers that are there speaking in terms of even the independents. You see they have their support. So, that will be a key thing to look at in a lot of these key areas where we're expecting, the third party and independents to kind of maybe skew the votes, could go either which way.
It is interesting how this election is going. Dave and I have been out now from last week, Saturday. We went out Sunday, went out the whole week this week. We have not seen much of an impact from the F&M as we go in these different areas. And about 4 different areas. And it's interesting too that most people are not talking anymore about the CIO. They sort of fizzle out now as election becomes closer. The average Bahamian, and we go into areas that are poor, middle class, average Bahamian, and then the upper middle class, and things are spreading out now. People have concerns. The major concern that most constituents have is the fact that they don't think they have seen their MP sufficiently over the last 5 years. Most of them have not seen them, and they're very concerned about that. A lot of them send their troops to go into the areas. Like we met 3 ladies last night, and they said this one haven't been in here for a long time. But the persons who go to these people to ask for their support say, well, if you see the candidate, if you see me, you see the candidate. Someone say, listen, you're not on the damn ballot, eh? So I want to warn all of them, PLP, F&M, etc. The candidate must go there themselves and work, as I told Sabas from the beginning. And he understood that. You got to be the one to win the election. Your team got to help you. But you got to know that you have done the leg work to deserve the support of the Bahamian people in those respective constituencies. You all got work to do, go and do your work. And it appears to me that many members of the Free National Movement are of the opinion that every 5 years, the government's going to change anyhow. So there's no need for them to go there and hustle and work hard, because it's going to happen. I don't see that being the case in this election. People are hiding, their interests are hiding, and they ask a lot of questions, and they so far have been disappointed in the level of persons visiting them on a regular basis now. So you got 21 days left. Go do your job.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, Michael?
I think, further to what Mr. Miller would have said, I think, this election, there's, you have, every party has their base in terms of their supporters that come out and they rally behind their candidates. But I think this election is going to be there's still a lot of, a large percentage of those that are quiet. And I think those are the ones, those are the ones that we're going to have to be very, I wouldn't say some parties going to have to be, we'll be scared of these particular individuals, but those persons are a large percentage of the voters that will show up and determine who will be the winner of this particular election.
The candidate is going to have to go and visit them people.
Yeah, and and it's so funny, unless I watch a lot of videos, and every video I see coming out on social media, I see you more than some of these candidates in a lot of these areas.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. I gotta go there. So Mr. Miller,
the fella asked you the other day if you running in the area and he was passing you while she was walking out of the yard.
Yeah, they need to step up and go do your job, man. You cannot have people going working for you while you sit down. I mean, most of them are being paid now too, but you have a job to do. People want to see the candidate. They want to ask you specific questions about what your plans are for the constituency. And if they can depend on you, because most of you change the damn number soon as you win, and there are the questions that need to be answered. I advise all of you, F&M and PLP, go visit the people.
How about Exuma and Abaco tonight? How are those islands shaping up in your opinions?
I think I think both parties, if you look at even both parties have gone to places where I think they're starting off their campaigns where they think they're stronghold on.
Exactly.
Is in terms of where in the particular islands. That's what it seems like to me. Of course, it seems as though Chester Cooper, they say he's very strong.
Very strong.
And I think Abaco, I think the F&M feel as though they have a strong presence there, which is why they've started the family islands in the areas that they have. So that I find that very, I think it's interesting that both parties, the major parties, have gone in that direction and starting, I think everybody's wanting to play the numbers game in terms of show that they have a big presence inside the Family Islands, and it'll be interesting to see how they go throughout the other islands, what the turnout is going to be as they move throughout, going further south, or even, some of the northern islands.
I think, Shanique, what you're going to see, the Free National Movement is going to make an attempt to capitalize on wherever they feel the Progressive Liberal Party has fallen down during this term. And one of those places is Abaco. Abaco has had its share of issues with both one of their candidates and also one of their incumbent is not running. So, and word on the ground is that Abaco is kind of up in the air right now. And so the Free National Movement is going to try to make that a priority. And wherever they could gain any ground, that's what they're doing there, up there in Abaco. The Progressive Liberal Party down in Exuma, that is a stronghold. I think their strategy is they're going now early in the game, touch base with their people that they know they got covered just to make sure that they don't feel left out, and they're going to hit the ground on a wide spread on these Family Islands. I think you're going to see for the next 25 days, almost every day except Sunday, there's going to be
we go 7 days a week, man.
There's going to be a rally somewhere.
Sunday.
There's going to be, no, I'm not talking about campaigning, but there's going to be a rally somewhere in some Family Island or somewhere on New Providence.
Well, I'll tell you who did not nominate yesterday, and we will get to nominate a nomination story and really sort of look at what took place yesterday. But the Bahamas Constitution Party, Ali McIntosh, did not nominate. I'm not sure if Leroy Major nominated. I'm not sure if Leroy Major nominated as well.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, so that is what that is. Listen, we are just getting started. It is Week in Review Fridays. I know I told you all that we will go live to those rallies in Exuma and Abaco. We hope to do so right after the break. Stay close. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Man, you gotta call somebody to find out.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes your process you and entertains them 24/7.
You better get out to vote. It's the big concert, Saturday, April 18th at the National Stadium. Just added Bungie Garland, Ding Dong, Faye Lyons, Skinny Fabulous, also Sweet Emily, Eamon Trey, Johnny Cake, Bloody, Sherwin Gardner, Wendy 242, El Polly, and the Pawn Band. Gates open at 6 p.m. And remember, it's free admission with your voter's card. Now listen, no voter's card, no entry. Make sure log on to getoutovote.mysuncash.com to validate your voter's card in order to secure your tickets and get out to vote.
Foreign commercial banks have been closing across our islands. For thousands of Bahamians, our country's post office savings banks are a lifeline, providing safe and secure banking. But Michael Pintard says,
we will abolish the bank through the post office system.
That's a risk Bahamians can't afford. That's why the Prime Minister is making post office savings banks stronger to protect Bahamian families and small businesses who rely on them.
Hey, it's time to lock in your vote.
Your vote is your power.
With the new boundaries in place, you may need to transfer or confirm your voter registration.
And if you have never registered or didn't plan to vote,
don't get left out on one of the most important decisions of your future.
Make sure when election day comes, you're ready to say,
your say, your vote, your choice.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition.
A little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Island Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds.
When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun.
So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We started tonight's show telling you of both rallies, both political organizations. The PLP and the FNM are on the Family Islands tonight. The Progressive Liberal Party on the island of Exuma, Rebecca Bain, is there live this evening, and she gives us an idea of exactly how that rally is playing out. Good evening, Rebecca.
Good evening, Shanique, all the way from Georgetown, Exuma. I'm in front of the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters where they are kicking off their rally for progress this evening. Now, I do want you to take a look behind me. We can see a large crowd of supporters have came out here this evening. They're dressed in their party's paraphernalia. They have flags, they have banners. Earlier, they came in with a motorcade shouting Chester Cooper. So you can see where they are leaning here in Exuma this evening. But I do want to speak about some of the individuals that will be speaking. Of course, we are expecting the incumbent Chester Cooper. We are also expecting the party's leader, Philip Brave Davis, who's also vying for the Cat Island constituency once again. We're expecting Renika Knowles for the Long Island constituency. Place waiting for Central and South Girls. Robin Lines for Killarney. Zane Lightburn for Yamacraw. Fred Mitchell for Parkville. And the Lord of Canada
I'm going to ask
vying for a second term in this election. Started operating the campaign. Of that campaign is protecting immigration programs and hosting education and healthcare amongst the country. So I'm going to bring further updates by the digital platform this evening about how this rally is going. And as I said, it's a vibrant atmosphere out there this evening. The crowd is excited to be here. But for right now, I'm Rebecca Bain. Send it back to you at the session.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thanks so much, Rebecca Bain, live in Exuma at the Progressive Liberal Party's rally. You heard a number of speakers are slated to address the crowd there this evening. We're going to go now to Abaco, where Linton Ritchie Jr. is live from the Free National Movement's rally that's happening there this evening. Let me know when that's ready. Let me know when it's ready, you all. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. But Ellington and Leslie, Michael, if you are there and he can come back in, great. But Ellington and Leslie, you heard Rebecca a moment ago about the rally in Exuma there, the PLP in Exuma, a list of speakers. And the FNM is doing something just as mirroring really exactly that, meaning that they have a lot of speakers and candidates from other areas also gathered in Abaco. The PLP tonight has a number of its heavy hitters on the island of Exuma to help get the party's message and move it forward.
Absolutely, Shanique, and that's what it's all about. It's all about shoring up your base and getting your base rallied around your cause. And that is what both of these parties hit the ground doing. The Free National Movement in their initial rally, now pushing one push northward, one push slightly southward, and you're going to see this spread. And so that's what you see happening in Exuma. She talked about the crowd now building down there in Exuma. We haven't been able to see the FNM in Abaco yet, but I'm sure that the same thing is happening up there, and the Free National Movement is demonstrating as we get into the actual engine of these campaign. They're demonstrating how hungry they are to win this general election.
Mike?
You know, Shanique, I guess like from starting from this week on, Exuma just is going to be one big party. You know, you have the Exuma, the Georgetown Regatta is coming up next week. But, you know, based on, you know, the speakers and the amount of persons, you can see, as Eldon said, you know, the South and the North, you know, it's, you would think that whoever is advising on these campaigns, because they seem to be very replicas of each other in terms of, you know, how they're approaching to both campaigns. I don't know if they're following each other or someone is advising them, but
Everything
it's
I do, the
interesting.
monkey do.
Yeah, but I think Exuma, I think you can expect a large crowd. There's a big support base there, but also I think persons are starting to gravitate towards Georgetown, Exuma, especially because you can expect the regatta is coming up next week, and sailors are everyone is getting settled in to get ready to gear up for next week, Wednesday.
You know, Mr. Cooper has done a wonderful job for the people of Exuma as well as Ragged Island. A lot of infrastructure work has been going on, road works like you never seen before. You know, he's done a great job, and he's very popular. He's probably going to win by a tremendous margin. I would say no less than 65–70% of the votes. He's very popular down there. He's done a good job since he's been elected. This will be his third time around, so.
Oh, it's third time already?
Yes.
Yeah, third time, yeah.
One
thing I noticed with him, if you, I'll tell you what I love that all the candidates are doing this election season is embracing social media. They're telling their story through social media. Well, he is trekking all throughout the Bahamas with his candidates. Of course, you know, he is deputy leader with the candidates and helping them push their message forward, campaign door to door. A lot of it obviously being documented on social media for anyone to see.
And Shanique, it's interesting that you mentioned that because in the past weeks prior to now, we've been talking about all of the various candidates and members of parliament and their new approach, their new love with social media. What we've seen with Chester Cooper, we've seen him take a different approach to social media. He more took the business approach, the approach of governance or campaigning. He took it on a different level than most of them took it. And so, yes.
Absolutely.
He did a good
Telling,
job
of course, of obviously,
telling the
like
story.
Leslie talked about, things that have been accomplished and done, and then helping those candidates to get their message out. Let me know when Linton Ritchie is ready, please. That when he's ready, of course, Linton Ritchie is covering the Free National Movement's rally on the island of Abaco this evening. I think we now have him. Linton, good evening to you. What's happening at the Free National Movement's rally there in Abaco? Meanwhile, there is movement on the ground for the country's new multi-million-dollar hospital, with work officially getting underway on the long-awaited project. Ground was broken today. Now, the government say that the development begins a major chapter for the country's healthcare system, which has faced years of strain because of growing demand on the system that's been limping along for decades now. Gentlemen, your thoughts on this new hospital? I mean, we know that it's been in the news for quite some time now, with people for it or against it, and any number of various opinions being expressed about the new hospital. However, today, ground was broken and work will get started.
Well, finally, Shanique, it's been a long time, and people were wondering if this were going to get started. Obviously, the government was continuing their work towards this day, and things don't just happen in one day. They were working towards this day, and now we see that they have broken ground and they're serious about it. The funding have already been provided for it. A lot of people have mixed emotions about whether or not we need to build this hospital, whether or not we should have this type of hospital that we're having, but the government is going for it. I heard somebody said today that maybe they should have remodeled or revitalized. I think
Princess Margaret.
We've been doing a lot with Princess Margaret.
Princess Margaret
the
has now
facility
become
is
patchwork.
old, and you keep on adding on to old
years,
structure.
How many? Over 100?
Over 100 years.
100 years old.
No, it's very old.
It needs help. It really, listen, I'm of the view that hospital, that we need something. Now, it should not be a specialty hospital.
That's my only
It should
thing.
be a hospital. But Princess Margaret cannot continue to carry the load it's been carrying.
What I think we can do, the property is a very vast property, and there's so much you can do. You can build a multi-story hospital, and one floor can have a specialty for that area, another floor have a specialty for that area. So you can have these specialty on different floors. But we cannot continue to add on piece to Princess Margaret Hospital, and the driving and the parking is inadequate.
There's no property
the
left.
ambulance pulling up spot is jam up and inadequate.
Yeah, no property
How
left.
much as we grow as a country, how much can we continue to have Princess Margaret Hospital as our main and number one hospital. So there's a lot of discussion in there. And work is now going on. The hospital is now beginning. If the Free National Movement has said that if they win, they will cancel it. Let's see what happens.
Michael, before you jump in, you and Leslie, I want to quickly go. Linton Ritchie Jr., we do have him now up. He is live from the Free National Movement's rally on the island of Abaco. Linton, good evening to you. Certainly, of course, we're excited to hear what's happening in Abaco this evening.
Your issue is your neighbor's issue. You'll be surprised that those issues are national issues. And when we talk about national
Good evening, Shanique. Thank you very much. Well, we are live here in North Abaco at the Free National Movement rally in the backyard. Now, of course, currently taking the stage directly behind me, if my cameraman pans, is the candidate for Garden Hills, Mr. Rick Fox. Now, before him was the candidate for Central and South Abaco, Jeremy Sweeting. Now, when Sweeting took the stage, he made the election pledge to the electorate of Central and South Abaco that under an F&M administration, he will ensure that he brings back alive the boating marinas here in Abaco. He noted that under the PLP, from his view, he alleges that the increase in boating fees has completely left marinas across Abaco desolate. Of course, he says that that is taking a strain on Abaconians' homes. He noted that many Abaconians depend on the boating industry for a livelihood. He also talked about power. He also talked about infrastructure. He also made it very clear that these will be some center focuses on his campaign, and if elected, that he will work hard to improve on. Now, directly behind me, once again, I said that Mr. Rick Fox, he is taking the stage. He's speaking about his pledges. If elected, he's also talking about how much potential that he believes the country has. He noted that more investments need to be made. He also spoke about infrastructure. He also threw some political jabs at his Garden Hills opponent as well, and also the Progressive Liberal Party. We know that earlier this week when Mr. Fox gave a speech at the Southern rally, he made some comments noting that he is here to deal with bullies, and persons alleged that after that speech they claims that he was inciting violence. Well, tonight he cleared that up. He noted that he was, from his view, he did not mean to incite violence in the community. He was simply, is what he says, was addressing bullies. Now, of course, tonight we expect to hear from a lot more Free National Movement candidates. We know that Denley Penn-Mackey, who is running in the Southern Shores constituency, she's here in North Abaco. She's on the lineup. There's Brian Brown for Golden Isles. There is also Therese Boodle, who is the candidate for North Abaco, where this rally is being held tonight. And following that, there will be a keynote address from the party leader, Michael Pintard. Now, we also know that former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, he is in Abaco. He's expected to arrive here at this rally any moment. Of course, we will be standing by. We're hoping to be able to conduct an interview with him, get an update about how he feels about the political temperature on just weeks away from the poll. But this rally comes on the heels of a nomination day that was held yesterday, where all the candidates for Abaco successfully nominated under the Free National Movement. Of course, we know that just a week ago there was a rally in Nassau, and of course the Free National Movement says they intend to continue on throughout the islands. But we're live here. We're standing by in North Abaco. I'm Linton Ritchie Jr. sending it back to you at the desk, Shanique.
Thank you very much, Linton Ritchie Jr. on the island of Abaco in North Abaco. In fact, this evening you heard him talk about Leslie, Ellington, and Michael. I want to talk about something he mentioned. Of course, he talked about Jeremy Sweeting already addressing the audience there this evening. There in North Abaco at the F&M rally. Rick Fox is on the podium right now speaking. Said Rick Fox clarified his statement when he said, listen, if you're a bully, punch a bully in the mouth. And other things that he said this week that really raised eyebrows. Said that Fox said he wasn't trying to incite violence, just address bullies. Gentlemen, your thoughts on how Rick is playing his cards this election season?
Shanique, I think Rick Fox is new to the game. He's fresh in Bahamian politics. And I knew immediately when I heard the statement, I don't think that he was kind of purporting any violence or any sort, but you just still, both sides, Progressive Liberal Party and Free National Movement members, when you're on the podium, you have to be careful because some people take in your language literally. I've seen some of the rhetorics among the campaigners and your members that are on these social networks. Some of them are really threatening each other for real. I mean, that whenever I see you, what I'm going to do and stuff like that. So I would ask both parties to kind of, let's try to tone it down from among our people. Not that I had for one moment believed that Rick Fox meant anything as it relates to literally punching someone in the mouth. I think it's just campaign rhetoric.
You know, Shanique, I think when it comes to politics, I think, you know, a lot of people are disconnected when it comes to what really is happening in our economy as it relates to, you know, certain areas. And I think sometimes, you know, we have people that live in their bubble, and when they actually get into politics, it opens their eyes. When they start to go house to house, what's going on in these communities, what's you know, and something that they would have never fathomed, because they have lived a life of privilege. And that's, you know, straight across the political divide, being FNM, PLP, COI. And sometimes, you know, when you get and you go to these doors and you knock on these doors and go into these homes, it humbles a person. It really, you know, things that they never think that is happening. You know, we consider ourselves a rich country. But when you start going into some of these homes and these neighborhoods and you see how people live in the Bahamas, where they don't have running water, you know, still outside toilets and various things, you know, it sometimes I would say it's a burden, it's a blow to the face, and sometimes some people, it takes a while to really come to reality that I can't believe that people are living this way. And I think, you know, I think Rick Fox is one of those who, you know, you might have been here some time ago, but when you start going into some of these communities and you see what the average Bahamian goes through on a day-to-day basis, you know, I think sometimes it's hard to connect and really, you know that, okay, this is how young men live in terms of, when we talk about inciting violence, you know, you have to be very careful, because at the end of the day, people don't really know what survival of the fittest is, not until you actually see how people, you know, below you, or, you know, what they say, the underprivileged in terms of how they live. I tell people that when I ran in 2007, you know, being down in Nassau Village in certain areas, it was definitely an eye-opener for me. And sometimes you always think that, oh, you have it bad, but you have to really look at the communities around you and say, hey, you know, this is what it really is. And you don't know that not until you start walking into these people's homes and you start sitting down with them and listening to their stories and what they're going through. And, you look at it, you say, boy, I got life is really good for me.
You know, I think Rick Fox's initiation and being in politics is like baptism with fire. You know, we met him last week, Saturday, in Garden Hills. Dave and I, Garden Hills too. The area I had the privilege of representing 1 and 3. And, you know, he was visibly upset that we were in there campaigning, you know. I said, my brother, just
Hold on,
part
wait.
of the scenario.
What do you mean? He was upset that you were campaigning?
Yeah, he came out of his golf cart and he approached me face on, 2 inches from my face. Say, what are you doing here? I said, I'm just here helping out the brothers. But, you know, I trust that.
But Leslie, that's nothing to laugh at, because what Rick must understand is that in the Bahamas, you, Michael, Ellington, Perry Christie, Hubert Ingram, whomever can go with whomever. Yeah. And as I said when we were talking about the PLP, I said Chester Cooper has been going, Brave Davis too, but Chester Cooper really has been, and I'm sure they have defined their roles in this campaign. So he's been going with each candidate everywhere around the nation. Rick, you just reach. That's another thing. You have gone on social media before you even were connected to a political organization. You have gone on social media and ranted and raved like a lunatic. Now you are running on because you see this man here in Garden Hills campaigning. That is how it is, Rick Fox. That's how it is. Hopefully somebody can go with you and hold your hand and help you campaign in Garden Hills.
I was a little taken aback by him.
He had to be joking, man.
No, he had to be joking. He couldn't be serious. That is when you've not become acclimatized to an area, but you won't go jump up. You just come from wherever it is, jump up and figure you're running. Running there.
His father, I was very concerned about him because his father was a good friend of mine, Aldrich Fox. God bless him. When we formed the Light Industries Development Council back in '83, he was our vice president and myself as president. And we worked tremendously together, you know, and he said to me, you know, you can talk and say what you want to say about me, but please don't talk about my daddy. I say, Rick, why would I say something about your daddy? Someone who I love and who's my friend. I said, don't get upset like this, man. I say, politics in this country is a rough game. You got to get used to it. You got to take the blows. And he was really upset. Then he came back to me, said, but I thought you retired. I say, I'm not running. but I'm helping out
I
some
think,
colleagues.
and you know what, again, that word acclimatize, that is when you are made to understand the nature of where you are.
Yeah,
and I don't know that he understands Bahamian politics, Caribbean politics, and how it all plays
rough
out.
and tumble.
And how it all plays. Yeah, it's a little rough.
Easy.
Man, in the US it's rough.
Yeah.
Imagine here on these islands, it's a little rough. People can go and they can nudge you a bit.
Yeah.
But it's all a part of the game, and it's not meant to be personal or cheap shots or defame your character. None of that. But when it comes to the little hustle and sort of the jostling of politics, that's what it is, Rick Fox. That's what it is. And anybody can accompany you and campaign alongside you, or anybody can accompany Mario Boleg and campaign alongside Mario Boleg. That's just how it is, Rick
They can
Fox.
throw jazz like I told you. They will throw jazz
Go ahead, Michael.
No, so all we need now is Leslie to go start going door to door with the COI candidate.
That's all that's needed. I think Leslie just need to do that. I agree, Michael. Leslie
I
needs to do
don't
that.
see how I know, but that jack.
I call on Brenton Roll to hold Rick hand.
Brenzel, you know something, Brenzel Roll? Go hold Rickon.
Yes.
Go and talk, go hold, because you're wrong.
Nobody knows Garden Hills like Brenton Roll.
You're let Rick find out Garden Hills for himself, it seems. And Rick can't understand that he could ask you to help him.
From 1982.
Listen, Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
This is the National Youth Guard program designed to train young people to help the Bahama Islands in times of disaster.
I decided to join to better serve my country as well as to better myself.
We train the help in search and rescue,
electrical, plumbing, and carpentry.
And things that they can actually expand on in their careers.
Young people who join the Youth Guard program discover a sense of identity, a sense of purpose, and a sense of patriotism.
This program isn't about only the individuals, it is about the country.
The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At InvestStar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. It's Week in Review Fridays. Of course, our show was a little kind of mixed up tonight, so we didn't get to a lot of what was planned. But let's talk about this. Yesterday marked a pivotal point in the run-up to the 2026 general election as candidates across the country made their candidacy official. Nomination Day is when candidates file their nomination papers, which officially enters them into the race for office. The day unfolded with high energy, strong showings of support, and in some cases, heightened tensions that signal just how competitive this election season is shaping up to be. Janelle Longley has a recap.
Janaea, an eventful day to say the least at the T.G. Glover Primary School with the Coalition of Independence candidate Daphne Johnson, who was the first to arrive and complete her process, but refused to leave the room, claiming that she was seeking to challenge the nomination of Progressive Liberal Party candidate Bastian for, quote, not following the law. But when her efforts did not stop the successful completion of Bastian's nomination, her leader came to amplify the accusations and further delay the process for candidates that were expected to follow.
I am here to reject your nomination.
Reject the nomination because it is known, and he admitted on the radio yesterday, it is his admission, that he has government contract, that he gets $50 million from the government. And the law says that he is supposed to declare that a month before.
Did we hear it here from the radio? Sure.
You heard the objection of the candidate that
we
the
heard
law
it from
says.
the candidate. We heard it from the candidate.
Yes.
Is that factual?
Yes, it is.
With Lincoln Bain, if I have a $50 million contract with the government, if you could find that, I'll give you $5 million of it. Stop talking foolishness.
When Johnson gathered with her team to pray outside of the center before entering at 9 a.m., no one imagined that over 2 hours later, they'd still be locked in the room, levying allegations against Progressive Liberal Party candidate Bastian, who doubled down on the fact that he did everything above board and suggested that the level of scrutiny was expected.
You don't grandstand and try to look for 5 minutes of fame based on absolutely nothing. Listen, my entire professional career, I've had this type of resistance, and you know, this goes out to all aspiring young entrepreneurs. You know, when you start to make moves and start to make progress, you know, there are certain people that are uncomfortable with you progressing. That you find that on your job, you find that in business, you find that even in families.
But Bain in his protest also delayed the nomination of Free National Movement candidate Travis Robinson, requesting him to stand with him in his challenge. But Robinson denied to participate.
If my team can just be in the room, as we gave you all your opportunity to be in the room.
I have no comments on that at this point. They will address the matters that they have discussed. But at this time, I'm just excited to be nominated for the people of Fort Charlotte to become their next member of parliament.
Shortly after the 11 o'clock hour, the coalition finally left the room. Johnson said she had no regrets in their attempts to maintain democracy, insisting that now her focus is on preparing for victory at the poll.
The red carpet is rolled out for the wealthy, and then you and I, we get the red tape. Well, that is what I fought for in there for you today.
Now, Janaea, as far as Bain is concerned, he's fighting this all the way to election court. But there is a possibility that he may not be successful in that fight. Now, why is that? Well, the portion of the constitutional law that he claims Bastian broke actually states that those interested in office must disclose their governmental contracts or interest in such in a gazette within 1 month before the day of election, which in this case is May 12th. Obviously, we're no legal experts here, but it suggests that Bastian, if he hasn't already declared such, as Bain claims, has until at least May 11th, 2026 to do so. Now, obviously, this is a story that we will be continuing to follow and get some legal experts to confirm. But for now, Janelle Longley, throwing it back to you in studio. Janaea?
Well, of course, that was yesterday. This is Week in Review Friday, so if that was certainly one of the big stories that has people talking. But Leslie, I want to ask you, as the veteran politician in the room, can a candidate, like on nomination day, for example, protest and reject another person's candidacy?
It cannot
on
happen because
nomination.
it's none of their business. That is up to the presiding officer who's there. They run the election. A candidate can't run an election. I mean, this guy does it every single time. He hasn't been in the press for a little while because nobody want to listen to him anymore. So what he does, he goes and disturb the peace and try to berate a fellow who would like to go to Parliament. This guy's just a total jackass. And you can't stop him. He's an utter jackass, him and his whole crew. And the lady who raised an elf, she didn't get her money back. She wouldn't get 200 votes. I mean, miss, please, get a life. Come on, man. That nigga can beat you up, wig off your head. Go sit down, man.
Michael?
Get lost.
You know, Shanique,
serious.
I would advise anyone, to really watch when casting their vote May 12th, what they're putting their X behind. Because at the end of the day, every time you present yourself, it can't be just chaos.
Yeah,
I mean,
every time.
You can't create chaos every time you come. I mean, the nonsense. I mean, we've seen many multimillionaires who have put themselves forward as candidates, who would have government contracts, whether it be rentals or things of that sort. Which at the end of the day, we would hope that anyone who has government contracts, I'm pretty sure they would advise when they do their declaration.
Exactly. Like Brent Simpson was.
It can't be chaos every time.
Don't stop, man.
Shanique, let me put it like this. I'm gonna try to bring some balance to this. Not gonna jump in the bandwagon.
There's no balance.
Not gonna jump in the bandwagon to beat up the COI. Let me put a positive spin on it. Lincoln had a very nice suit. I think it was nice. The tie matched.
Sweetwater suit. Get real.
I love their colors.
$185.
They look good.
$185.
What's $185? What are you talking about, Leslie?
A suit. $185 suit. He had
on a very nice suit.
He never been in a good suit and he liked.
And the tie matched.
Please.
Let's give them something special.
Please.
Of course, we, as we said, this election season, there are about 123 candidates. Certainly, of course, that means 41, exactly, 41 from all three political organizations. Not sure if all 41 were nominated yesterday, but certainly
But did the pastor nominate or not?
All 41 constituencies?
41 constituencies. Yes. Yes.
I think the parliamentary registrar said that there was short over 100 persons that registered.
Yeah, I tell you, it should have been 123.
The Treasury should be smiling. The Treasury should be smiling. There's
plenty money we can get.
Yes.
They get like 40 times, like 45 times 400.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's
and
why.
Those that do get more than the number of votes needed, just leave the money there.
Exactly.
Make that a donation to the Treasury.
That's the reason why Madam Graveyard went back to Castle. Very smart lady. Thank you, Madam.
She did not nominate Leslie Miller.
Yeah, I know she didn't.
Yes,
That's why she didn't.
No, but here's why.
She kept her money.
Because she was
smart woman.
She didn't do it in protest.
No.
She said she's protesting against these
decided
elections.
Yes.
She's not going to let the Bahamas Treasury goosey her this time.
No, not this time. She could use somebody to buy lunch.
Gentlemen, I thank each of you very much.
Gas going up too.
Ellington Ferguson, Leslie Miller, Michael Turnquest, thank you each very, very much. It's good to have you all here. As usual, making a Friday exactly what it is, the day before the weekend.
Yeah, but tell Doc, cut it all the little kissy.
No, Dr. Menace is doing well. Dr. Menace nominated as well yesterday.
Yes.
Leslie, you seem to be
Watch
really...
MacGyver.
You are smitten.
Watch MacGyver.
Oh, you are
Watch
smitten
MacGyver.
with Dr.
Watch MacGyver. Watch MacGyver.
I am watching Leslie more than I'm watching Dr. MacGyver.
I want to see you in Kalani on the weekend with
Yes,
MacGyver. Now.
I am watching Leslie.
Leslie, and furthermore, you have been defamatory to Lincoln Bain when you called him a JA. That's
but he is a jackass.
Leslie.
An absolute.
Leslie.
He called me things too.
Well, I didn't hear him call it to you.
You hear me? Okay.
I didn't hear him. You were that's defamatory.
That's not defamatory.
It is defamatory.
I didn't make him that.
Bain becomes prime minister
Leslie,
today,
let me move right on. Leslie, even if he called you something, I never heard it. He never said it on air.
Okay.
I thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. It's good to have you all here. I thank you all very much for hanging out all week here on Beyond the Headlines. Looking forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Everyone make it a blessed weekend. See you on Monday.
Drive carefully, please.